Orion.
Welcome to Marriage Mondays.
Yeah. Today's topic is going to be tips to communicate through grief. Um, I know 2020 has affected many people in different ways, and good ways and bad ways. But today we want to talk about some of the bad ways. And so, one of the topics that we're going to share is grief. How do you communicate with your spouse when they're grieving? Some good things to do, some good things to say, and sometimes some things to not do.
My mom passed away. This year makes 5 years. She passed away on January 20th, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And your
Yeah, my best friend, his birthday is on January 24th, and he passed away 2005. And so I guess we have close people that we love and adore, and right around this time of the month,
we're thinking about them.
yeah, emotions can be high. And so, you know, it's one of the things that it happens in a relationship, especially in your marriage or whatnot. It says for better or worse, for better or worse. And so these are one of the situations that when it happens, nobody really tells you how to kind of prep for it or whatnot. And so there's different emotions. It's like Vivian Green old song, emotional roller coaster. The emotional roller coaster could be, you can be full of joy, thinking about good times and wonderful memories and so on and so forth. Or you can be on the downward side, maybe feeling the valley, thinking about some of the what you miss and just the person's presence and so on and so forth. So like, I think it's very important to kind of be able to read the room and see how that person is feeling, and hopefully you've done enough, I guess, communicating with your spouse to kind of understand where they be at or where they are during those moments and times of the season.
In my experience, when I go through those times where I'm feeling like that, just helps um, to know that you're there. Um, my situation is quite different from yours because the the two big losses I've had, my mom and Henry, they both had a chance to meet you. So I get to like reminisce on how happy they were for me. The biggest thing I ever did in my life was accepting Jesus, and then the second thing next to that was marrying you. So I can think so fondly of them getting to know you and coming to like you. My mom really loved you, and it just brought me to tears just because I was just so happy that she got to know that. So, I mean, really, just having you around is consolation for me.
My friend passed away years before I met my wife, and so I was 18 years old. And so when you think about it that way, there's like I guess a part of yourself that your spouse has never known, um, and there's a very big part of who you are, and when you grow and then you meet somebody, it's kind of hard to, I guess, share. I won't say share. It's just like, I think similar to what she's saying, like that person having the opportunity to get to meet you, get to kind of sense who you are as a person, and kind of feel your presence. And so for me, when that time of the year comes, it's like, I guess I have a. It's not. I guess it's not shared pretty much. I guess because the person is kind of just exclusively, the relationship is just mine. You know what I mean? And so at times, I guess, especially with me, it's being like a best friend. So a person who you kind of really knew very well, and your adolescence is a very big part of who you are as an adult. And so like that part of me that helped shape me and mold me to who I am today, it's kind of like a weird experience, like, man, kind of wish you could understand and know who that person was, but you kind of do a little bit because of, who I am. So like that person lives on throughout me, and so like I kind of find a little peace in that, knowing that I keep his spirit, just in some of his thoughts and things of that nature with me, and how I go about living life. And so, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say my advice to anyone, and I put this on my Facebook page when I was, paying respect to my mom. When someone goes through a loss, the biggest help to me was having people in my corner. Having people there that just openly express their love for me, whether it was texting me or calling to check on me, coming to the services, even when they didn't know my mom personally, but just coming there for me. That speaks volumes. That is so refreshing in a time of sadness, just knowing that I have that support. And that's why I said, just knowing you're there for me, just you being there is what I need. It's what helps me. Having that support, having you around. So, however you can be there, just be there. I know right when it happened, like you would. This seems normal for most people, but my husband is not a hugger. So he hugged me a lot more when it happened. when it first happened, he hugged me a lot more. That helped me. Him being there for me how I needed him to be. So as the years go on, as time goes by, it starts to get a little bit easier to maneuver through it. You always remember them, and you'll always have that pain of losing them, but you'll be able to deal with it better with time. They say it goes, like, with time it goes away. That's not true, but you can typically deal with it better. And I found that grieving comes in waves. So sometimes it's better than others. But as you go, the longer you go through it, the more you'll be able to deal with it. So I would just say support your spouse to the best of your ability.
Yeah, support. My support, me tapping her on the shoulder saying I'm going to the gym at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, everybody has their own thing, and let them do it. Sometimes somebody need a little corner to go and cry in, or just to go somewhere and have a little moment of just silence. You know what I mean? And so like, just support is very, very important, and do it in a way that is healthy and open and honest. And that's one of the things that you live with one another, and you grow together in it. And I think it makes you come closer as as a couple as well. So yeah.
Yep. Now, you said earlier, reading the room. So today I could kind of tell that you were going through it a little bit. And I asked, do you want a hug? Because I know that hugs help me. But he didn't want a hug.
Yeah.
So you just have to help them how they allow you to help them to. Sometimes they don't want help. They just want to cry and pout.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Being their what they call it, and let them be in their wind of emotions. And
J.P. Cooper has a song about that, right? Mm-mm. It's okay. You can cry, you can scream. But
yeah.
I'm not leaving. I'm gonna be here for you.
And that's a good thing to know. No matter which one you do, if you are kicking and screaming, mad at the world for a little while, at least you can rely on that person being there for you afterwards, and that's very, very important and
I
big.
want to say one more thing before we go.
Sure.
Because I feel like we haven't told them enough. Because I know that you said nobody preps you for this. I want to encourage y'all. Premarital counseling is very important. You should do it. Even if you feel like y'all got the best relationship, it's going to be great. You're never going to get a divorce. Premarital counseling. Second, it's true. We were not prepped for this. I don't know if there's some type of class that preps you when your spouse goes through a tremendous loss. What do you do? And all we told y'all to do is support them. And that kind of seems like common sense.
Which is not so common. No one's really prepped you. And support. And sometimes we need practical ways to know what support looks like, you know. Yes, so it could be cleaning for your spouse. It could be making sure you take care of laundry that day, or going out to get groceries on that day, or if you have children like we do, just take care of the kids, you know what I mean? Give that person the opportunity to sit there and have several hours to themselves to relax and decompress.
Grieving is awkward. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be awkward. You're just going to have to deal with the awkwardness. So, you know, I don't know if I could say what your mom said. Do you think she would care?
Go for it.
Okay. My mother-in-law was talking about Jared's passing.
Mm-hmm.
This was maybe a year or two ago. She was talking about it. Y'all were discussing it, how you missed him or whatever.
Yeah.
And she had said, you know, that she felt like she had lost a child too, because how close he was and how he would spend so much time with the family. But when she found out, she couldn't really express her sorrow like she wanted to, because she felt out of place, because somebody actually lost their child.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's awkward on so many stages. Like, I lost my mom and my uncle, but you had a right to be grieving too. You had gotten close to my family, but you had to pull your britches up and like help me through that.
Yeah.
And see, that's what's hard for me. When people tell me, like, if it's people that are close to me, or if it's like a really devastating loss, the loss of a child, nothing can touch that.
Yeah.
So like, when I hear about that stuff, like, I start crying. And it's awkward for me, because I'm like, I know I shouldn't be crying because this is your loss, but I'm just so sad too. Like, even when your Uncle David passed and I found out about it when I was at work, I'm like, I gotta go. Like, you were like, I'm dealing with it. You don't have to leave work. But I started crying at work, and I'm like, I've gotta go. Everybody deals with it differently. It's awkward. Like, you're gonna go through all these awkward emotions. I don't necessarily feel like you had to be strong for me, but you may have felt like you needed to be. Look, we can all come together and cry and have a big old crying party, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I'm good with crying. But some people don't feel like that. That's what I wanted to say, that grieving is awkward. Going through a loss is an awkward phase for everybody. Definitely. So just that's one way that you can prepare. Get yourself mentally ready to know it's going to be awkward. And it might be awkward for a while, but you still have to be there for your spouse, no matter how weird it gets.
Yeah, I definitely can agree on that. It would be awkward, and even my hometown is awkward every time I touch down. It's like, it's been like that for 15 plus years now. It's like, it doesn't feel the same far as home. You know what I mean? It's always, you know, it's that weird feeling. I tell my wife that every time. It's like, what my usual routine was is weird, you know. And because I don't live really close to home, never kind of had enough time to start to almost remend some of those old routines. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, um, I mean, it's a doozy. You know what I'm saying? It would be weird, and try not to hold anything against anybody because no one really knows how to, you know, approach this the right way. There's always different. Like I said, I'm different than how my wife is, and so um, try not to hold anything against them. And if you do feel a certain type of way, um, try to express it when the emotions aren't really high. You know, like I said, read the room and wait till a time and a point where you can share in a manner that they can receive it. You know, where they can listen and hear you out and understand where you're coming from, and so you can actually build some type of bridge with one another about these situations when they happen. You know, so yeah.
That's all I got. Sorry it took me so long to recollect my thoughts.
Yeah. So, thank you for hearing this out. Thank you for, you know, listening as well about, I think my Facebook message today and my wife's probably the other day is just like, I'm not a big sharer, but sometimes I do feel like sharing. And yeah, thank you for all those that, you know, shared in these moments with us together as well. So
Yep. Have a good rest of your Monday, guys.
enjoy.